initiate with the question, what is the purpose of education? In the past, education was all about acquiring knowledge. It assumed that acquiring knowledge made you a better person, and therefore it helps you guide through the ups and downs and various twists and turns of your life. But today, education has become a huge enterprise. It is no longer about acquiring knowledge. The students and parents, I'm not going to justify whether they're right or wrong. I'm going to make an observation that will make you think. Today the students and parents are talking about education as a purpose to see what do I get from this education. If they go to the institution, what is their placement record percentage? What is the C2C? What are the dream companies? So, from a student, the parent, the educator, the institution, everyone is looking at education as an enterprise. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to tell you how education has been a knowledge society, has become a business society. So, are we now talking about continuing the paradigm of education in a business context, or are we going to continue to talk about education as a knowledge, pursuit of knowledge, and the development of skills of the human being, and to see that you acquire not only knowledge, but you are able to apply it to your daily life, not essentially to your job. So in that context, if you come in, the second question comes in is the students and parents, and of course educators are asking, where do students go after K-12? Up to K-12 is fairly standard now. Although we have multiple boards of education in India, little non-standard, and some are better than the other in the way you look at it. Some are increasing your memory power, some are increasing your width of knowledge, and I'm happy to see that the Cambridge model of K-12, the school system, has a basic liberal education built into it. So that gives me the platform to talk about what I want to build on further. So what is liberal education? Liberal education widens the thought process, your vision, your approach to life, and the way you develop as a person. It is not a narrow path or one-way street to go from point A to point B, and here I'm going to be doing this computer science and I'm going to be joining company X and my dream job is to see this. That's one objective. But the second objective is to say that I'm going to acquire a knowledge which gives me a wider personality and that I can perform whatever role I want to do in any organization, any job. So, in our mind, liberal education is the key to success, especially in the transforming world. So if I were to tell you that even in tech companies that you talk about today, the top 5 tech companies, the CEOs are not engineers in computer science. I'm pausing to make an impact, the statement is. The top 5 tech companies in the world today, the trillion-dollar companies, the CEOs are not techies. The CEOs are liberal education graduates. So if you see that as the definition, then how did they get there in the first place? Of course, they went through the narrow path of computer science, and then of course maybe business development and maybe business management, and climbed the ladders to the top over a period of 20, 30 years. But if you see the current generation of students who are going from K-12 to higher education and from higher education to jobs or careers, then what we find lacking is the breadth of knowledge. They used to a narrow focus of knowledge in K-12, which is testing their retention skills, memory skills, and their grades. In my mind, grades are important, but they are not all that important. Big achievers are not great students. So what are we doing in our education system which can provide the student an opportunity to change course, change skills, change jobs, change careers, become entrepreneurs, become astronauts? We don't have the answers. So that is where I think liberal education comes in.